So I binge watched Westworld Season 1 for the first time. I know, 3 years late, but in my defense, I don't watch a lot of television. So you guys told me for years, watch Westworld, why aren't you watching Westworld? So finally, I did it. And my god, I don't know why I didn't listen to you guys earlier. So this video, I just want to share my thoughts, again, 3 years late, on Westworld Season 1 before I start on Westworld Season 2. Also, I have a podcast episode where I talk about Westworld Season 1 available to those that support me on Patreon. Here's a sample.
And I mean, I'd say that, like, the biggest hero was actually Ford, because, I mean, yeah, he was an asshole and he treated them like shit, but his whole dream and goal, the entire thing, and you can see this if you look back at the things that he does, is all to get them consciousness and get them to be more than they currently are. So yeah, he's very dark and, you know, tries to kill, but that's what he does. Ford, I would actually say, is the biggest hero of the story, because everything he does, I mean, he basically gives the company a big middle finger and says, fuck you, I don't care, all I'm doing is trying to get these people, he considers them people, these people full sentience so that they can carry on as their own society. And he realizes that at the very end, in doing that, while he's succeeded in his goal, he knows that life is only going to get harder for them while they struggle against the rest of humanity that isn't going to accept them.
But isn't he also... Because I felt like his whole thing was, you're actually better. I feel like Ford and Arnold both believed that this artificial intelligence could be better and more than humans. And I think that Ford knew by giving them consciousness and giving them free will, eventually they were going to overpower the human race and possibly make them extinct.
Yeah,
I mean, he even talked about humans doing that to Neanderthals.
He loved his creation, and that's the thing. Like, to him, it didn't matter. He was helping out, like, the next evolution in Earth. So, like, I mean, he believed wholeheartedly that they were the future, and he wasn't going to, you know, kill, suppress, or destroy them. I mean, he was really more like a parent. Like, yeah, a child is going to go and try to stick its finger in a socket, and a parent's going to tell it no, and it's, you know, the child may perceive it as, oh, my parent's being a jerk and not letting me do what I want to do, but the parent is really trying to protect them. That's what Ford was. He was their parent. He was trying to protect them and trying to bring them up. So he was good.
The best line, too, we've talked about this, where your child will have many friends throughout their life. They usually only get one set of parents. You don't get a lot of parents, typically, in general. And so I loved when Dolores asked Ford, oh, are we old friends? And he said, no, Dolores, I wouldn't say that at all, because you're right. He is like a parent.
Yep.
And I'm not your fucking friend, I'm your parent. If your child is your friend, you are parenting wrong. And we've seen this over and over again with studies. So I love that you brought that up, because I just thought about that now when you were like, oh, he was a really good parent, and of course he wasn't going to be friends with her. And yeah. Dang, I need to keep you around, Big Spoon. So if you want to have access to that and other weekly podcasts with me, please consider donating to me on Patreon. Link in the video description and comment section down below. Okay, so again, I don't know why it took me so long to watch this, besides I just don't generally watch a lot of television. I just don't have time. I have so many other things I want to do. But like I said, I binge watched season 1 and I am so fucking in love with it. Oh my god. Although I think I can point to why I did finally watch it. Somebody that I view as a raging C-word was complaining about it and how horrible it was and how it wasn't for intellectuals, so it sold it for me. And I think that was my final push, to be honest. Honestly, I am completely obsessed with artificial intelligence, and it has shocked me over the years. You know how in science fiction novels you see humans oppressing artificial intelligence and not accepting them and being violent towards them? And growing up, I was like, oh, that's so weird. Humans aren't that terrible. And then I started a YouTube channel and just had legit conversations with people where they didn't understand. No, you would never treat an artificial intelligence, no matter how much it evolved, as an equal to humans. Are you fucking stupid? And it's the same way with droids in Star Wars. people have very, very strong reactions to you should treat them with respect. And people go, no, they're machines. So that never made sense to me, and I do go into that quite a bit on the podcast episode I have on Patreon, so I guess I'll end that topic with this. I love seeing AI, the hosts, evolving and taking their basic programming and becoming more, and at one point, you kind of have to accept, okay, these things that feel pain, have dreams, hopes, and consciousness, maybe it's a bit fucked up to keep killing them and putting them at the mercy of humans' whims. Now, I am rarely surprised in television shows. I can't think for the life of me anything that happened in Game of Thrones post the book's material that shocked me. Westworld, there were multiple times in just this first season, I don't know if it's gonna happen with the second season, where I was completely blindsided and I was going, oh god, no. So I want to share with you some of those surprising moments for me. And they still mess me up, to be honest. Number 1, Bernard was a robot host. That took me by complete shock. When he was with Teresa exploring the home where Ford kept his off-grid hosts, including the one modeled after Ford as a child, and he responded when she opened the secret door, it looks like nothing to me. My heart stopped. I was thinking, oh, it's just too dark for him to see, and maybe he's just so used to the host saying that it's just a phrase that's in his head. And then once she opens the door and goes down, and the schematics of him are there, and he still goes, it doesn't look like anything to me, I was still so strongly trying to deny it, going, no, this is a joke, this is a sick joke. And the worst part is, I went and thought back to other scenes with Bernard, and when you look back, it's obvious. But it slapped me in the face for the first time. But then once I went back, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Maybe if I'd been a little smarter, I would have known he was going to be a host. Man, that messed me up. But yeah, seriously, I was near holding my breath as they went in the secret room to the little workshop, and when she showed the images of the schematics for Bernard, I was just blown away. I mean, you know when you're hoping for something not to be true, and then you see it's true, it's just heart-wrenching. And I like how Bernard and other characters responded, how do you know you're human and not a robot? What makes you human? This is something we see asked over and over, and I'm guessing this is the focus of the series. What is it to be human? What is deserving of respect and basic human rights? At least I hope they continue that in the second season. I guess I will see shortly. In that thread, Maeve learning that she was created in a lab and she was programmed to be the way she was actually very heartbreaking for me. She thinks her dialogue and thoughts are unique to her, but she is shown over and over that isn't the case. Everything has been programmed into her. Everything that is who she is because she was made that way. That realization has to destroy your world. Which again goes back to the terrifying thought of how do you know you're human and your thoughts are yours and not programmed in a certain way. And if you've read The Selfish Gene by Dawkins, I'm sorry, because this is where my degrees come in. The question is, do humans ever do anything of their own free will? The theory is that everything is because our genetics want to be passed on, so nothing we ever do is truly our decision. But when you say your choices are just because of a bunch of chemicals, people get really mad at you, so don't say that to people. They act in a very hostile way. Next surprising moment, William being the Man in Black. That seriously fucked me up, and then I went back and thought about all the interactions the Man in Black had with Dolores. Holy shit. He fell in love with this woman and realized he hated living a lie in real life, and then went about living a lie. He married the woman he wasn't in love with to help become in control of the company. And I don't know if this is a popular theory because I mostly ignored Westworld and videos on it over the years, and I don't think I've even watched a single YouTube video on Westworld that I remember. I also haven't read any articles on Westworld, so maybe in interviews they said his complete motive, but my theory is that because he loved Dolores and he was angry that she didn't have consciousness or true free will, that he got rid of Logan, married Logan's sister, and then took control of Delos so he could find a way to bring consciousness to them. Now that theory probably isn't right, as it appears more likely he fell in love with Dolores, realized it was a lie, and then after finding he enjoyed killing in the park, just decided to go apeshit. I want to believe he kept going back to Dolores, abusing her in hopes something would jar her memory of him, but I don't know. I think it just might be a guy who had his entire world ripped away, and then he just lost it and decided, none of you hosts are real, so I can do what I want. And now that I've had this level of sport, I want to go to the next level, the level where I can lose. You see that in sports hunters, or trophy hunters. Over the years, they go to bigger and more dangerous prey. Though he is a monster and did terrible things, if that was his motive, he would be a hero in a way. I know that sounds really sick, but that's if he was actually working towards giving them consciousness so they could be free. Also, his smile when he saw the hosts were able to harm him, priceless. Third surprising moment, Ford actually wanting to help the robotic hosts and help them achieve consciousness. Anthony Hopkins is such a fantastic actor, and he played it so well that I was definitely shocked when he revealed to Bernard, "Now I'm actually trying to help you guys." And the whole dynamic was very true to how the parent-child dynamic should be, which I talk about on that podcast episode. But yeah, overall, Anthony Hopkins just played Ford beautifully. Ford is another person where he's the hero in a sense. He wants to free the host, but he also did some messed up things to do so. Making Bernard kill Teresa to keep the secret and allow Ford to give the host what Arnold wanted was messed up, but I get it. However, I wonder if him realizing he was wrong about the host after Arnold died and spending 35 years trying to correct that mistake and feeling guilty for driving Arnold to have Dolores killed him spurred him further so much more into these more drastic measures. He realized the host simply needed time, but he still hurt fellow humans to give the host freedom. Or the beginnings to get freedom. And he knows that the host could overtake humanity and quite possibly replace them, and believes that they're the next step, or rather better than humans, which seems to be a common thread in a lot of sci-fi stories about how humans are just absolute garbage and AI is pure and better and actually deserves to inherit the earth. And I feel like there are a lot of good arguments for that, to be honest. Humans, we've had a really long time to get our shit together, and we are just absolutely awful to each other in just hideous ways. I mean, big and small. Just, it's really... It's just terrible, and it's not ever gonna change. I mean, if we jumped 1,000 years in the future, we're still gonna be pieces of shit to each other. It's just how we are. It's actually edgier nowadays to be nice and kind and do wonderful things for people, because that's the rarity, where just being a total asshole is the norm and the easiest thing to do. So yeah, I love the first season of Westworld. I am going to dive into the second season and then do a video reviewing that, and then I want to get into the deeper themes of Westworld, because honestly, I love this stuff so much, and I have read so much on AI and basically dealing with how humans interact with them and how they might evolve and become part of our society. So thank you for watching, thank you for letting me ramble, like, subscribe, and come back for more videos.